Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Black with Century 21 First Class Homes. I'm here with my episode, Meet the Expert on the Block. And I wanted to just kind of thank everybody who is joining us and who see us out there. If you would not mind, I do have my social media. We're actually live. We're streaming live everywhere. So I'm on my LinkedIn. We're streaming. We're streaming on my Facebook pages, my business page, and my business page is where if you'd like to see when I do a expert on the block feature, if you go out there and like it and follow it, you will be able to see all of my episodes. So I have here my expert on the block that we're going to meet this today, and this is Laura Lian Williams. She is with Laura Lian Design Studios, and I want to thank you so much. And too, just as a side note, it is also streaming on LinkedIn on Laura's page too. I just want to make sure that I make a note of it. So if you're out here and seeing this, give Laura some love. So Laura, I want to thank you so much for coming on this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block.
Thanks so much, Dawn. I'm excited to be here and I appreciate it.
And I'm excited to having you here. We just went through a run through, so I'm hoping that we can get all of our information out there for you. So, Laura, would you be so kind as to let us know a little bit about yourself, and also how can people get a hold of you?
Sure. So, as Dawn mentioned, my name is Laura Lian Williams, and I am the founder and creative director at Laura Lian Design Studio. We started back in May of 2019, and we're located in downtown Arlington Heights. And you can reach us at our website, lauralian.com. And you could also send us an email at hello@lauralian.com. So, whichever works for you, and you can see our portfolio of client work right there.
Well, again, Laura, I want to thank you so much for joining us on this episode. But I also, as a side note, want to let everybody know why I do this. And yes, I'm a realtor with Century 21, but it's really interesting to get out there and meet everything in your area or all the local businesses. And if it weren't for the local businesses, it'd be, we wouldn't have our neighborhoods out there or our cities. So I want to thank everybody. And this is why I go out and support our local businesses. And again, like Laura, she's a local business in the Arlington Heights area. Get out there, say hi to her. And if you're interested in what we're going to be talking about, which is branding, be sure to give her a call and contact her. So, Laura, everybody has a story why they started in the businesses that they did. And if you could kind of maybe let us know what's your why?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I was very fortunate to get to hop right into the workforce after college, and I got my dream job. And I kind of worked actually as a graphic designer at an events company, and then I hopped into actually a real estate team and worked for them as a creative director and doing all their branding and graphic design work. And I really, really appreciate all those experience I was able to collect and gather and kind of have those tools in my belt, if you will. And then I was ready for my next adventure. It was time to do my own thing and go out on my own, because I was learning that I wanted the flexibility to be able to help people, even in my local community, with their business. How can I help from the branding and the marketing standpoint? And how can I make sure that everyone has a strategy and a plan in place? And then how can we work as a team to execute on that? And so I was very fortunate that I have the support of my wonderful husband, who has also joined our family business at the design studio. His name is Dirk Vanderdoot, and I'm very thankful for him coming on the team. And yes, this is a family business, but I think the best part is that we can give back doing what we love. And I love art and technology and just giving back if we can.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you know what? You and I have a special connection. And so I went to high school, Sacred Mary Ave Mary High School in Rolling Meadows. And there was a time where it was all girls and all boys. So I just don't want to give out my age, but but I'm older. So, but what happened was the high schools merged, and Sacred Heart went and merged with St. Vitus. And the interesting fun fact that we have here is you designed the logo for St. Vitus, correct?
Yeah, for the Alumni Connect, yep. So
Okay.
when St. Viator and Sacred Heart of Mary merged as also even as alumni, I was very fortunate and blessed to be given the opportunity to create a logo that encompassed both sides. So it's the Alumni Connect logo, and you might, if you're an alumni watching this, like, thanks for the love and supporting both me and Dawn. We appreciate it. But yeah, I'm really glad that we found out that kind of little secret hidden gem that we had that connection all along. Didn't even
And
know
we
it.
had no idea. Yeah, we had no idea that was that was a little special side note. So yeah, how awesome is that? That was exciting. That was exciting. So I was going to ask you, you mentioned, with your why, but you had mentioned a point when we were talking before we went live about collaboration. Can you expound on that? Can you just tell us a little bit of information about that? What do you mean by collaboration?
Yeah, so we really love to collaborate, not with just people in our community, but even with you as business owners. And I want you guys to understand, if you're a business owner and you feel like, oh, I don't really understand branding and marketing, I can't be a part of this. No, we definitely can be a team. Like, I want to hear your story. I want to understand your mission and your vision and your goals for your business so we can collaborate as a team and make sure that we're bringing that to life. And so, whether that's through a brand or marketing pieces, I want everyone to know, like, hey, we're all important, equal players here, and we're just a team taking on your goals together. Yeah.
That's really nice. So you also mentioned too that there's the flexibility here. So if you
Yeah.
could just kind of let us know what you mean by that.
Yeah, so with the flexibility, we're very fortunate that, we can grow together as a team. So when things come up and you say, "Hey, I'm sponsoring this event," and, we're making our marketing game plan together ahead of time, we can really map out, "Hey, when are these pieces due?" And we can really prep ahead of time on the designs, make sure they're printed on time and everything. But kind of that flexibility of being, "Hey, Laura, by the way, I, signed up for a sponsorship opportunity," or maybe even flexibility within your own business because you're growing and you're bringing on new employees. Maybe that impacts, oh, hey, we need a business card, right? So we can be flexible and nimble when you need us to be because we're like your designer in your back pocket.
And I was going to say, it's when sometimes people think about branding, it's just a logo of some sort. That's the type of putting out my face or just put a picture out there or just a little logo or something. There's a lot more that goes into this, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. And Don, what I like to tell people, we end up being your creative director, your brand strategist, we're your account manager, and we're your designer. So we do all four of those things. And, we take it so seriously because we understand that both all those areas are critical and they all need to be like in sync in like one unit
And
working
two,
together.
then depending upon, because I know we're talking about real estate, but right now, because I'm a realtor and I have my logo and everything like that, but it really is it you are freeing up the time so that if it's real estate, if it's another business, if it's an alumni or whatever, anything, they can then work on the things that they need to get done. Isn't that true?
Exactly. We're just trying to take it off your plate. We all don't have to be great and amazing at everything, but if we were all great and amazing at everything, we wouldn't be using people in our communities. So that's what we have each other to lean on for that.
Exactly, exactly. Now you say the role of a graphics designer. So can you kind of let so what is that role and what does it all mean?
Right. And so I know I mentioned I'm multiple roles, but just one of them being the graphic designer. And that's kind of more the execution side, right? Once you have the understanding of that objective and where you want to go with that piece, the designer ends up actually making that come to life, right? So the production side of things. And so I like to, give everyone an understanding that, they're more than just your person working for a $10 logo in a scary basement, you know, it's not that, but we're also not some massive ad agency that when you call, you have to, go through a mega phone tree to find them. We like to say that we're the sweet spot. We're like the boutique inside, right in the middle, and we're here for you. So if you want to call us, we're the ones answering the phones, and we're the ones also designing it. But what I like to just kind of touch on in that role of designer, we're really using all our creative energy towards that piece that you want us to make for you. So it's not just hurry up, she's throwing on some colors, oh, these revisions should take, 5 seconds. But if it was that easy, then why wouldn't we all be doing that, right? So we
Yes.
like to show people we really take the time and put a lot of thought, because to me, that's what makes a really nice piece. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So I was going to say, and we were talking about real estate. So and I'm going to use this as an example.
Mm.
So you help certain companies set up their branding and their goals and things like that. But with like for myself, if a business belongs to a franchise, how can they use your expertise, because they're already branded. Like, for example, I'm Century 21. My brand is Century 21. So I look at it, isn't it as easy as me just getting my logo out there for Century 21 and maybe getting my picture out there? Um,
Mm.
how can you help, or how do you assist somebody that has a franchise, that's under a franchise?
Right. That's a great question, Dawn. And maybe we can show our
Yeah,
viewers here
yeah,
my website.
let me get that up. I just want to make sure that we can pull it up
Awesome.
so that you can talk about it. All right,
Perfect.
excellent.
Thank you, Dawn. So if you guys come here to my website, lauralian.com, you'd be able to also see this on your own, um, at your own time. But yeah, speaking solely on, real estate, we've been very fortunate to help a lot of different teams and individuals with their real estate brand. And we know it's really important, of course, especially for realtors, because they are always out and about, and
Yes.
especially Dawn. She's always out in our community. And so I just want to show you a quick example when we talk about, yeah, how do I follow the rules of the brokerage I'm with in this case? So, for example, um, this case study shows an app properties team, but you can just see that we've done everything from print to digital to signage to promotional pieces. You can go into each one of these categories and even learn more and further into each one. But I just want everyone to understand that there's like just so much. You realize, oh my gosh, my brand is like everywhere, right? And so I
Yes,
want you to be so proud of your brand, Dawn, because when you're not only branding Century 21, but yourself as well. And I don't want people to forget that. It's not just Century 21. You're a part of that brokerage, but you're just as important too. You got to get your name out there. So
definitely.
whether it's through social media, um, even to, yes, we understand that's really important, but even when it comes to those events, right? Those custom events you
Oh,
want, maybe custom promotional items. So I want to make sure that you fully understand, not just you, but realtors and everyone, that your brand like lives in so many different places. And that kind of ties back to that flexibility. I want to make sure that your logo, and since we'll just take this one because we both have our
yeah.
connection to St.
Yes.
Viator and Sacred Heart of Mary, but just we had a fortunate opportunity to team up with St. Viator in doing, they had a big capital campaign. And so we were asked to do their branding, and the new president over there, Father Dan Lian, I was very thankful to get to work with him, but we needed a brand that he clearly communicated to me needed to be modern, but also traditional. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, thanks for the challenge. We are going to take this on. And we also had to take on all these letters, but I was like, we're going to make it work. And so this campaign is supposed to fund the next 60 years of St. Viator. That was the goal. So we needed a brand that was really strong and willing to take on that kind of lifelong effect, if you will. But we did a primary logo, a secondary logo, and an icon. So as you can see here, these logos and this brand all tie together. So you're probably like, hey, Laura, why do I need 3 logos? It plays back to that adaptability and flexibility. I want your brand to be able to live wherever you need it to, whether it's
Okay.
a website, or maybe it's on a promotional item, or maybe it's in a presentation deck, or maybe it's even on a coaster, right? How do we make sure that it feels cohesive as a group? But again, it needs to fit in those moments where sometimes, a rectangle is not always going to fit inside a circle. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, this is just another example of a brand opportunity. But even circling back to Dawn, your point about how do I still stand out? I really want you to take the time that your brand deserves. Like, I want to make sure that you're sitting down and saying, hey, how am I going to fuse in my own mission and vision with my brand? Like, I'm still going to follow the rules of Century 21, but I
Yes.
still have to stand out, right? I still want to be different because I want to make sure, Dawn, that you stand out from the other brokerages, but also from the other realtors just within Century 21, because I'm sure there's a lot
Oh,
of you.
yes, we have about 51 agents. So you want to, you obviously want to stand out. And then,
Yeah,
too, so what do? Do you sit down with somebody and you just try to, because if you're doing a logo, and I know I'm probably getting off a little bit about, or we're going off track, but it's something where do you get to know the person that you're talking to or the agent? Do you see like, how do you, what kind of questions do you ask that agent?
sure. Yeah, we're actually going through a lot of discovery questions exactly like that. We're trying to learn about you, but also your industry. And we're trying to understand what's trending in your industry and what are the tools that you are given by your brokerage. Because, I'm very appreciative that the brokerage does care about you and takes care of you guys. But
Yes.
I also want to make sure that we can utilize them as well. So sometimes with some of the realtors, I'm able to actually really leverage those tools, but again, the realtor has to share that with me, and they too themselves need to really understand what they were given as a tool. So I think it all works. Like, if we team up, you can share with me the tools that you're given, and we can really, I think, put our heads together and collaborate and
Yes.
make a
Yes.
piece that allows you to stand out. So I just want that's my biggest goal, I think, when it comes to that kind of franchise model. And we've helped even like State Farm agents, and some of them, other ones, come up and say, well, I'm just given these tools, and it's so easy. But if it's so easy, then well, why aren't you using them, right? If there's such good
Right.
tools, there's something about them that I think just throwing your name and your headshot at the bottom of a boilerplate kind of email blast doesn't always pass, right? It's still not maybe, fully your words, but it is a nice template to start. So I
Yes.
just want to make sure we're using what you're given.
Yeah. Well, my last name is a good last name, Block.
Yeah,
It is
I
a
know.
good
I love how
name.
you play off of that. And that's what I'm saying. You got a good brand. I mean, you can definitely use it. But as you guys can see here, this portfolio is filled with very different industries: education, finance, people in the landscaping area, martial arts. And,
Wow.
I like to tell people, whether you're going to Paris Fashion Week with one of our clients, or you're making your travel guide for your business that you sell travel guides, it doesn't matter. Like, this stuff takes time. And I really just love working with people that are really willing to invest and they want to grow. And I would love to have the opportunity to grow with you. But,
You
some of
probably
these
met
brands,
so many nice, I mean, so many interesting people. I mean, when you're right there, you're just saying you've got so many different insurance people. I mean, all different types of people that you're meeting and
yeah.
listening to all of their stories. That's got to be so interesting.
Yeah, I think it's fun because everyone has their own story, even if they're in the same industry, but it always has a different start and ending. But we're very fortunate and blessed to work with all these types of brands, and we're very thankful to our community for supporting us really early on in 2019 and helping us even survive, what we've all been through
Oh
lately,
gosh,
and
yes.
just making it here. And so we're very thankful to people, especially like yourself, Dawn, for just
Well,
allowing
thank
us
you.
to, share this with our community, because it's what we love. Like, we love to do this. I think when, I'm sure you feel the same way. When you love what you do, it's a little bit easier, actually.
Oh, it is. It's so true. So, you know what? I wanted to ask you. So, what is when somebody calls you or contacts you, what can they expect? I mean, can you kind
Sure.
of give us a little run through on that?
Yeah,
Or
and
what
they
can
can
they expect when they call
right.
you?
Yeah, and they can even see it too here. But immediately when we connect, we're gonna grab a cup of coffee and go to our
Oh,
favorite
sounds
coffee
good.
shop, support local businesses,
Have a
grab
cup
a
of
cup of
coffee.
right, grab a cup of tea, exactly. And we just want to, in a casual and like no stressful setting, we just want to learn about you. We want to learn about why you're passionate, just like you asked me, what's my why? Same thing. We just want to get to know who you are, where you want to go with your business. And if you have any other key decision makers that need to be a part of that conversation, we'd love to just meet everyone in one spot and just see what everyone's thinking. Because I think at the end of the day, Dawn, we realize, right, it's all about the communication and
It
just
is.
getting everyone on the same page. And some people have different angles on how they look at things, but we're very fortunate that we can give our branding perspective. And sometimes it allows our clients to be like, oh my gosh, I've been in my business so long, I didn't even think about it that way.
That's so
So
true.
we
That's so
help each
true.
other, right? It's
When you get two heads together, you've got so many different ways of thinking, and you might come up with something that you're right that I would never even think that would fit well with myself or my branding or my name. So I've got
yeah.
Tina Ellercon is saying hi. So we'll say a quick hi to Tina. Thank you for your commenting. And oh yes, we mustn't forget your better half. You both are great. So that is awesome. Thank you,
Thanks,
Tina,
Tina.
for jumping in. That's really nice. That's really nice. So we're basically discovering, doing a lot of discovering in your process of what's next. So
Exactly.
once you've come up with, so once you, from the time that you sit down, you have your cup of coffee, you're collaborating, you're
Yeah.
coming up with all these ideas. um, so how long does it last? I mean, what's the time frame? You know, like you figure it's, you know, from start to finish. Everybody that I talk to, from top, it's a week by the time you get your product done, or it's 2 weeks. With you, it's a little bit different. Can you kind of let us know what your time set is when it comes to all with your business?
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned it, Dawn. So we do have quick turnaround times when it comes to those by project basis things. But once we're signed on to an annual plan, we really prefer that business model because then we're your whole design team. Like I mentioned, all four of those roles, we're that in your back pocket. So we're like your branding, marketing team or your department. And what within that whole annual, we like to really work with you on an annual basis, if not longer, because we realize that so much collaboration happens. And sometimes you guys want to call us or just say, hey, I saw this really cool thing and I was out, on a trip. Like we love those moments when our clients are, in the back of their heads, like thinking of a great moment of marketing for them. And it just allows for so much flow of creativity back and forth. So we prefer to just work with you on a really long-term basis. But once we're inside and we make that game plan together,
Yes.
really we can bust out those projects that you have, that probably nice wish list that I'm sure you get when you're
Oh
doing
God.
home tours and everything. They have a wish list too, and just we get the same kind of request. And we just like to really help our clients actually prioritize. And I think that's the biggest thing at the end of the day is, yes, we will help you make that design to the best it can be. And we'll do it with thought and quality. But we're really, at the end of the day, too, we're still just getting really organized. Like we notice that sometimes we may be coming in and they've had a designer in the past. So we're just trying to get everyone organized so you have all your files nicely, neatly organized, and it shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be 5 different faces coming in, leaving you. We're always here. We rather just be on your team for a longer amount of time.
So what you're saying is it's not, there's no time set, really. You're
Right.
telling me that pretty much this is a collaboration between two people, and it's almost a lifelong, or as long as your contract lasts, but it's like
Yeah.
this is an ongoing process, and it's an
Well,
ever changing process also, isn't it?
exactly. I'm sure you say that too, Dawn, right? Like with marketing trends and
Oh
so
my
many
God.
things happen, even just the trends within real estate in your
Yes.
industry. But it's like you got to be flexible and adaptable. And we realize that this annual plan, if not longer, just allows for that, again, that flow of creativity on both ends. So where we can pivot and be there for each other. And like great ideas come up, we can actually go right into it, plan it, execute it together. But branding and marketing, it's not like you set it and forget it. You got to keep
No,
making.
gosh, you have to keep going, especially with the way technology changes. And you probably wouldn't want me waking you up at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm thinking up an idea. I was like, wait a second, I thought of something. Make a note. Hurry up. So,
No, it's okay. I have clients that send me things. I'm like, no, I'll see it whenever. And, I always have my nights where sometimes just creativity kicks you in the middle of the night, and I have my notebook next to me for ideas so I remember in the morning. But we're really fortunate that, yeah, we can just work with our community more on a long-term basis. We just realize that's beneficial for both sides, and that allows us just to create more for you. And we're right there in your pocket.
That is so great. So I have another comment here. It's Ragu. He says, "Hi, Dawn and Laura. Laura, I've always loved the philosophy of your company. Keep crushing it." So thank you, Ragu, for
Thanks,
jumping in and watching this episode. I really appreciate it. So Laura, how can people get in touch with you? I know that we've talked about a lot, and it's been fun. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. So how can people get in touch with you? Oh, that's such a cute picture.
So I got to make sure I show off my other half of my team here,
You
got to
have to
bring
do
him in.
that. No, wait a second. Don't you have an assistant? Your
Well,
assistant?
we just hired our very first full-time graphic designer. And so we're very, very thankful, and he's fitting right in.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Awesome. I was talking to your little furry friend. Remember you had your
Yeah. That other friend too. Yes, you
yes,
guys
you
can
have a
see him on
second
our
assistant
website.
too.
Yes, John, don't forget, he's our project manager.
I was gonna say, don't you have a picture of there you go. Oh, is he the cutest thing?
Thanks.
I did not want to forget your project manager.
Thank
Jeez.
you. Yeah, he would be barking at me when we get home if he saw this, if he were watching us live. But yes, you can also follow Boomer the Woodle on Instagram. So he keeps quite busy.
Wow. So we got to put that out there. How people can follow Boomer.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can find him at Boomer the Woodle, and Woodle is spelled Whoodle. So he's a Wheaton Terrier poodle, but his cute little underbite allows for him to smile, it looks like. So
Yeah. I go, he's happy. He smiled for you. Oh, that's cute. So how can we, Laura, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how can people get in touch with you to start the process?
Yeah, well, we'd love to start a relationship with anyone that's just curious or intrigued about what even branding is. We're very open to just having a discussion and grabbing a cup of tea. They can reach us at our website, lauralian.com, or send us an email at hello@lauralian.com. But they can also find us in our local community, because Dirk and I are very good at getting out there and meeting wonderful people like Dawn and Tina and Ragu that popped on. We're very thankful to just, be present in our community and collaborate with people like yourselves.
Well, we appreciate you. I appreciate you very much, especially coming on my little episode here. I've met with connecting with people through businesses. I mean, I met you through Tina and Ragu, and I'm so happy that I did, and I really appreciate it. And again, we need to support our local businesses, so it's really important that we get out there and do that. And I think that we don't have any more comments, so I think we're good there. And I don't think that right now there's any questions, but if any questions pop up, you can get in touch with Laura through her website. And Laura, again, can you just repeat one more time? I always say you got to let people know where how people can get in touch with you. So one more time,
Sure.
if you let everybody know that.
Yeah, they can contact us at our website, lauralian.com, or send us an email at hello@lauralian.com, or just find us in your local community. We're right here in downtown Arlington Heights, so feel free to just knock on our door, and we'd be happy to chat.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block, Laura. And
Thanks so much.
Thank you. And also keep an eye out, because I'm going to be coming up on next Wednesday at 5 p.m. We've got our special guest. We're going to be meeting from Gray's Craze. So we're going to have a lot of talking about, I just have that charcuterie. That's what we're going to be. At least I said it. I got it. I get so tongue tied with that word. But
It's
again,
okay.
we're supporting our local businesses, and she will be next week at 5 p.m. So until then, I want to thank everybody out there for joining us on this episode. Don't forget, I want to be your resource for real estate. So if you're looking for real estate buying or selling, contact me at 847-630-2121. Again, thanks everybody for joining us on this episode, and make it a great rest of your week. And for everybody out there, I hope everybody has a happy Easter. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.